to avert a shutdown. Many in the GOP's congressional camp are vowing, though, not to waver in the Tea Party-supported quest to defund Obamacare. Now, Iowa Congressman Steve King is joining us now at this critical time when he and his GOP colleagues are meeting right here in Capitol Hill. Welcome, sir. Great to have you here.
Thanks for having me on, Omar.
There's a lot at stake right now, and a lot of folks are saying that some type of compromise needs to be reached. But you are of the mind to dig in your heels and truly stand with those members who believe that Obamacare has to be out of the equation here.
Well, the House took a stand, and last week we voted to cut off all funding to implement or enforce Obamacare and to fund the government at sequestration levels, fully fund it, everything else. So we are opposed to a government shutdown. We've said that clearly, and the Senate has said, I dare you, with their response. And I happened to be giving a special order on the floor last night when that CR was messaged back to the House. I'd make this argument, and that is that whatever might happen, if we hold our ground here and say all or nothing at this point, we want to fund the government, we don't want to shut down. If you shut the government down, Mr. President, here's the price. We can recover from whatever inconvenience might be there of a partial component shutdown. It'll never be a full shutdown of government, and there won't be a political price to be paid by Republicans. If there is, we'll recover from that, but we could never recover from Obamacare. That's why this fight really matters now.
But you and I both know there is a huge perception out there that the GOP will be blamed if there is a partial shutdown of the government. Are you concerned that the GOP is being put squarely on this path of blame if the shutdown happens?
Republicans should have done a much better job of messaging this over the last few months. I will say that. But I'm not worried about the blame. I look historically across this, and I think, what has the price been that's been paid? There have been 17 shutdowns in modern history, totaling 109 days. 57 of them were Jimmy Carter's era when he had Democrats in the House and the Senate that he was fighting with. I don't know that anybody paid a price for that. There were 2 shutdowns under the Clinton administration, and of those 2 shutdowns, the Republicans, after the long 21-day shutdown, the longest in history, lost 8 seats in the House, but 6 of those were marginal seats. We still maintained the majority, and those things that came from that 21-day shutdown, I've never met anybody that said, I didn't get to go to Yosemite and it's your fault and I'm going to punish you the rest of your life. We'll recover from anything. I don't think there is a penalty. If there is, we'll recover. But we should do the right thing, and there will be a reward for standing on principle. That's a far more important political component than it is if people are a little bit angry temporarily. It's a long time till the next election.
Now, I know you've joined us breaking away from that meeting that's taking place right now on Capitol Hill with your colleagues. So at this point, do you see any type of compromise being offered up at this point that will be accepted by your colleagues in a way that pushes things forward to avoid a shutdown? Or at this point, are you basically saying, that's where we're going, guys?
Well, I think that we have to take that stand and say that we've been challenged by the Senate. If there's a compromise to be offered, I've been looking for it. And
what about delaying Obamacare then for a year for all people, you know, as part of the debate over the debt ceiling, for example?
If we delayed the implementation, the enforcement, and the tax collections and everything that has to do with Obamacare for a year and funded our government during that period of time, that's something that's likely to be discussed there. And I'm going to see what my colleagues say. My vote is hold our ground, because whoever blinks in this is the one that loses. And I think that the fear of a government shutdown has been so oversold, it's kind of like global warming. If you remember the discussions about that, there was everything bad about global warming. Nothing could possibly be good about a few extra degrees anywhere on the planet. I think the fear of a government shutdown has been sold the same way, disproportionately. But if it would be shut down, it also is clear Republicans provide the resources to fund the government at sequestration levels. This would be the equivalent of a political tantrum on the part of the president to preserve his namesake piece of legislation if he shut the government down over this issue when he knows America has rejected Obamacare and it can't be implemented. It's a train wreck.
Congressman, thank you so much for joining us. So much is happening at this hour, and we appreciate you joining us with your insights, and we look forward to continuing the conversation.
Well, thank you. I'm going to head to that meeting and hope there was a long prayer to open it so I don't miss anything other of the dialogue of my colleagues.
Absolutely.
So appreciate it.